So today is a big day. It's something that we've been planning for years and now working towards for some time. Today we've got a team of guys coming in to install our backup heating system. Now they're going to be working in a couple of different places in the house, so I'll try and capture as much of it as I can. And then when they're all done, we'll explain a little bit about the system, why we've installed it, and take it for a test drive as well.
Tá bom. Segura aí embaixo. Vai. Começaste a rodar? Não. Vai. Calma, dormindo. Não, ele é que está na frente, ele é que manda. Vai. 1, 2, 3. Escuta mais devagar. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Espera. Aí.
Não tem coisa, não?
Tem o quê?
Ainda não tem. Vai?
Espera aí. É que estamos fora.
Mas?
Tens que ir à frente. Para ver o laser.
Não,
Vai para lá de lá. Vai para lá de lá.
O parafuso é ali. Tem que ir mais, não tem? Ah, epa, foi muito Jesus.
Espera, calma. Está torcido. E consegue isso para quanto? É uma coisa que estamos lá. Deita tudo para aqui, deita. Isso. Deixa eu passar.
Jesus, que é isso?
Está bem? Não. Não, isso vai ter que ir tudo ao quadro. É tudo, o gajo é poliglota. Ele tem de agarrar na caneta, não estar a achar. Que é por causa de tu ficar coisa.
Já, meu.
Senão isto não vai ficar coisa, que ela assim fica.
Cheio de fumo. Um fumozinho. Depois acho que lá embaixo há uma que está em cima daquilo do segundo, não é nossa.
Não. Tenho certeza que isso é aí fica.
So the guys are making great progress with the install, and I thought I would take a moment just to explain a little bit about what we're installing and why. Because as you probably noticed, it doesn't look like your typical kind of wood burning stove. And that's because its primary purpose is to actually heat water as well as heat the room that it's installed in. Now what's funny is this kind of technology of a wood burner with a back boiler is really old-fashioned. In fact, in one of the first houses that Kylie had, which was built in the 1930s in London, had this very same kind of thing, but it was an open fireplace where you burn coal. There was a boiler behind it which heated a water tank upstairs, and that is essentially what we're doing here, except we're burning wood and the tank is downstairs. But the reason we're putting this system in is it's a backup heating system for the winter. We're on solar power here and we don't have a grid connection, and we use electricity for everything: cooking, heating, hot water, lights, TVs, computers, all that kind of stuff. And so in the winter, when we don't have as much sun, it means we can't use as much of those things. And that usually means one of the first things to be turned off is the heating. But heating and hot water in the winter is pretty important. And so that's why we're putting in this backup system. So on days of low sun, we can burn wood, and that will heat the water, which we can use for showers, washing dishes, that kind of thing. But also it can feed the underfloor heating and will be nice and warm. So when they've finished everything, I'll be able to give you a quick tour of how it all works and how it all fits together. But hopefully that explains a little bit about what we're installing and why. We were bound to hit one.
I can see the light.
How's it sitting above the hole, lady?
Marginally to your left.
Is it high or low?
It's a bit high, but I mean,
It's a bit what?
that's good.
So you think that puck's going to go up?
For sure, yeah. What do you think, Gar?
Yeah, it looks good. Let's stick one through and see. Good?
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
What?
That's
How's
gonna,
that angle?
that looks better, yeah. Still needs to go up the hill a bit if possible. Okay, it's mine.
Adjust it slightly. I would say if we ran through that nut there, that should be pretty much
Yeah,
the
this is
center.
pretty much the centre.
That's nice, lady.
No.
Okay. Hoppa, adesso nascosta.
Okay, the guys are just doing a few final checks upstairs before we can fire this up for a test drive. But I thought I'd take a moment to quickly talk through some of the changes that have happened down here and give a brief overview of how the system works. And just for a bit of orientation, this room that I'm standing in now, which is our utility room, on one side we've got all of our solar stuff, on the other side we've got all of the heating and hot water stuff. And this room is directly below the wood burner upstairs. So we've still got the big tank in the corner that connects outside to the heat pump and now upstairs to the wood burning stove. And this is the reason that we chose this system in the first place all those years ago, because it can have multiple heating sources hooked up to it. I think it's called bivalent or something like that, but don't quote me on that because I'm definitely not a heating expert. But you can use solar thermal, you can use a heat pump, you can have a wood burning stove hooked up to it, and there might be something else as well, but those are the kind of most popular options. So we've got the big 300-litre water tank that is directly connected to the water tank in the salamander or the wood burning stove. And then there's a couple of new pieces of kit as well. We've got the 60-litre buffer tank and its expansion vessel. And then there's a whole load of new valves and actuators and electronics that basically manage the flow of the water to make sure that the big tank doesn't overheat. So when we burn wood upstairs and it gets up to a certain temperature, which I think is about 45 degrees, a pump kicks in and that starts the flow of water through the system. It goes from upstairs into the big tank, across into the small tank, and then back upstairs again. And the idea is we want to keep the water in the back boiler tank around 60 degrees, but if it starts warming up too much and goes above 75, then some cold water will be injected into the buffer tank here, and then that will be pumped around the system to bring the temperature down. At least that is my understanding based on the conversation I had with Ricardo. If I got it wrong, it's probably because my Portuguese isn't as good as it should be. Anyway, enough technical talk. Shall we go and set something on fire? Seems kind of crazy to be testing this thing when it's 28 degrees outside.
Looks pretty impressive, doesn't it?
That is an understatement. Looks amazing.
Thinking the water has gone up to 47 degrees. That was quick. I can see many nights of wine, crochet, knitting, and a fire. It's really pumping out some heat.
Yeah, it's impressive, right?
For something that's meant to be a back boiler, it's still putting out a lot of heat into the room.
What about the flue and the sides of the unit?
Yep. I mean, this is an insulated flue, so it's not going to get too hot, though that's got some warmth. That's got nothing. Nothing.
So everything is working properly. The guys did a full test before they left, so this is actually the second test fire. Everything is working great and everything is looking great, which is a bit of a relief because when we went to the showroom to have a look at this unit, I was not that impressed. I thought it looked a bit ugly, I thought it looked a bit too modern, but now seeing it in situ, I think it looks great. And a nice pile of wood by the side brings a little bit of that rustic charm alongside the nice clean lines of the stove itself. So yeah, very pleased with how it looks, how it fits in the space, and so far very pleased with the amount of heat it's kicking out and how quickly it's warming up the tank downstairs, which is excellent.
And I particularly like the fact that the casing is white. When we originally went to the showroom, no, even before we went to the showroom, we'd looked it up online and we were going to go for a black model, so black everything.
Which would have been too much.
Yeah, but the white blends into the wall much better, and so you really just notice under the fire part and then the flue part. And yeah, surprisingly, it looks a lot better than I was expecting, which is a nice surprise. But in just a couple of minutes, it's gone from 47 to 56 degrees, which on a winter's night is good news when we have no sun.
So the whole installation process was an absolute breeze. The guys from Dois Climas are amazing, super friendly, very accommodating of my limited Portuguese. They're also really tidy. They used a hoover every time they drilled a hole in the wall. They were sweeping up the whole time. Yeah, there were boxes everywhere when they were doing the installation, but that is to be expected. But they did a great job a couple of years ago when we did the heat pump install. They've now done another great job with this install as well. So we are very grateful for all of their hard work. We're very pleased with the unit, and we can now draw a line under the wood burning stove installation project. Of course, we have got more stuff to do in this room, but I think we're going to be pausing that for now because we're moving on to another big project next week. So definitely stick around, stay tuned for that. Hit subscribe, like the video if you like the video, all of those things. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. I feel like I need to go and have a hot bath now that we have so much water.
I feel like I need a cold shower because it's stinking hot outside and it's now stinking hot in here.